नमस्ते सर्वदेवानां वरदासि हरिप्रिये ॐ त्रैलोक्य पूजिते देवी कमले विष्णुवल्लभे मङ्गलां शोभनां शुद्धां निष्कलां परमां कलां विश्वेश्वरी विश्वं सुप्रसन्नां सुवदनां करुणानिधिनिजान्तरां सुधाप्लाविनीं भूमिष्ठां मानवगन्धानुलेपनां ध्यायेन्मकरनिष्ठस्थां श्वेतालङ्कारभूषितां
Mantras of our Divine Mother. Our Divine Mother says it is only when we are not disturbed that we can always do the right thing at the right time and in the right way. It is always the right thing when it is done in the right spirit, with always our blessings, says our Divine Mother. Words of our Divine Mother taken from the compilations of our works of our Divine Mother, book The Signature of Truth, topic Towards Union. Our Divine Mother says, the force which, when absorbed in the ignorance, takes the form of vital desires, is the same which, in its pure form, constitutes the push, the dynamis towards transformation. Consequently, you must be aware at the same time of indulging freely in desires, thinking them to be needs which must be satisfied, and of rejecting the vital force as positively evil. What you should do is to throw the doors of your being wide open to the divine. What you should do is to throw the doors of your being wide open to the divine. The moment you conceal something, you step straight into falsehood. The least suppression on your part pulls you immediately down into unconsciousness. If you want to be fully conscious, be always in front of the truth. Completely open yourself and try your utmost to let it for a second deep inside you into every corner of your being. If you want to be fully conscious, be always in front of the truth. Completely open yourself and try your utmost to let it see deep inside you into every corner of your being. That alone will bring into you light and consciousness and all that is most true. Be absolutely modest. That is to say, know the distance between what you are and what is to be, not allowing the crude physical mentality to think that it knows when it does not, that it can judge when it cannot. Modesty implies the giving up of yourself to the divine wholeheartedly, asking for help, and by submission, winning the freedom and absence of responsibility which imparts to the mind utter quietness. Not otherwise can you hope to attain the union with the divine consciousness and the divine will. Of course, it depends on the path by which you approach the divine. Of course, it depends on the path by which you approach the divine, whether the union with the consciousness comes first or with the will. If you go deep within, the former will naturally proceed, whereas if you take a standpoint in the universal moment, the later is likely to be realized first, but it is not quite possible to make a cut and dried generalization because the sadhana is a flexible and fluid thing, and also because the divine consciousness and will are very closely connected with each other, being two aspects of one single being. Take note, however, that the merely external similarity of your thought or your action does not prove that this union has been achieved. All such proofs are superficial, for the real union means a thorough change, a total reversal of your normal consciousness. You cannot have it in your mind or in the ordinary state of awareness. You must get clean out of that. Then and not till then can you be united with the divine consciousness. Our Divine Mother says, once the union is really experienced, the very idea of proving it by the similarity of your thought and action with mine will make you laugh. People living together in the same house for years or coming in daily intimate contact with one another develop a sort of a common mind. They think and act alike, but you cannot claim to be like the divine by such merely mental contact. You must consent to have your consciousness entirely reversed. The genuine sign of the union, says our Divine Mother, the genuine sign of the union is that your consciousness has the same quality, the same way of working as the divine's, and proceeds from the same supramental source of knowledge. That you sometimes happen to act in the external field as the divine appears to act may be nothing save coincidence, and to demonstrate the union by such comparisons is to try to prove a great thing by a very small one. Our Divine Mother says the true test is the direct experience of the divine consciousness in whatever you do. It is unmistakable test because it changes your being completely. Evidently, you cannot at once be fixed in the divine consciousness, but even before it settles in you, you can have now and then the experience of it. Our Divine Mother says, the divine consciousness will come and go. But while the union lasts, you will be as if somebody else. The whole universe will wear a face, and you yourself, as well as your perfection and perception and vision of things, will be metamorphosized. So long as you lack the experience, you're inclined to look for proof, results, which are secondary. What the union fundamentally means is that in your consciousness, you know more than a human being. It is all to the good if, owing to your acquiring a pure and receptive mind, you manage to think and act in accordance with my intentions. But you must not make a mistake, a step on the way for the final goal. For the chief difference between the positive union and mental receptivity is that I have to formulate what I want you to carry out and put the formula into your pure and calm mind, whereas in the case of the actual union, I need not formulate at all. I just put the necessary truth consciousness in you, and the rest automatically works out because it is myself who am then in you. I dare say it as rather difficult for you to imagine, the experience being well indescribable. It is, however, less difficult to imagine the union of the will with the divine will, for you can imagine a will which is effective without struggle and victoriously manifest everywhere. And if your will tends to unite with it, then there is something approaching a union. That is to say, you begin to lose your separate egoistic will and your being thus naturally to fulfill the divine's behest. And without knowing even what the supreme will is, wills exactly what the divine wishes. But this means an unquestioning acceptance of the higher guidance. Our Divine Mother says the energy in you, which is deformed into vital desire, but which is originally the urge towards realization, must unite with the divine will so that all your powers of volition mingle with it as a drop of water with the sea. No more than its own weakness and failings, but evermore the supreme quality of the divine will, omnipotence, says our Divine Mother. Next subtopic, surrender. Our Divine Mother says, surrender is the decision taken to hand over the responsibility of your life to the Divine. Surrender is the decision taken to hand over the responsibility of your life to the Divine. Without this decision, nothing is at all possible. If you do not surrender, the integral yoga is entirely out of question. Everything else comes naturally after it, for the whole process starts with surrender. You can surrender either through knowledge or through devotion. You may have a strong intuition that the divine alone is the truth and a luminous conviction that Without the divine, you cannot manage. Or you may have a spontaneous feeling that this line is the only way of being happy. A strong psychic desire to belong exclusively to the divine. I do not belong to myself, you say, and give up the responsibility of your life to the truth. Then comes self offering. Here I am, a creature of various qualities, good and bad, dark and enlightened. I offer myself as I am to you. Take me up with all my ups and downs, conflicting impulses and tendencies. Do whatever you like with me. In the course of your self offering, you start unifying your being around what has taken the first decision, the central psychic will. A divine mother says all desiring elements of your nature have to be harmonized. They have to be taken up one after another and unified with the central being. You may offer yourself to the divine with a spontaneous moment, but it is not possible to give yourself effectively without this unification. The more you are unified, the more you are able to realize self giving. And once the self giving is complete, consecration follows. It is the crown of the whole process of realization, the last step of the gradation, after which there is no more trouble and everything runs smoothly. But you must not forget that you cannot become integrally consecrated at once. You are often deluded in such a belief when, for a day or two, you have a strong moment of a particular kind. You are led to hope that everything else will automatically follow in its wake. But in fact, if you become the least bit self complacent, you retard your own advance. For your being is full of innumerable tendencies at war with one another, almost different personalities, we may say. When one of them gives itself to the divine, the others come up and refuse their arrogance. We have not given ourselves, they cry, and start clamoring for their independence and expression. Then you bid them be quiet and show them the truth. Patiently, you have to go round your whole being, exploring each and nook and corner, facing all those anarchic elements in you which are waiting for the psychological moment to come up. And it is only when you have made the entire round of your mental, vital, and physical nature, persuaded everything to give itself to the divine, and thus achieved an absolute unified consecration, that you put an end to your difficulties. Then indeed yours is a glorious walk towards transformation, for you no longer go from darkness to knowledge, but from knowledge to knowledge, light to light, happiness to happiness. Our Divine Mother says the complete consecration is undoubtedly not an easy matter, and it might have taken an almost indefinitely long time if you had to do it all by yourself, by your own independent effort. But when the Divine's grace is with you, but when the Divine's grace is with you, it is not exactly like that. With a little push from the divine, now and then, a little push in this direction, and in that, the work becomes comparatively quite easy. Of course, the length of time depends on each individual, but it can definitely be very much shortened if you make a firm resolve. A resolution is one thing required. The resolution is the key, master key, says our Divine Mother.